Okay guys, so it's been 2 months, September 18th as a matter of fact, so a little over 2 months, that I got some cuttings on fig bid, and I planted them. I put them in a big cup so they could kind of check out here. I just did a transplant I did 2 different big pots, the purple pots kind of deal, and had 9 cuttings in there, and 7 of the 9 have nice big roots. And these are the only 2 that did not take. This one never did anything. This one looked like it was trying to, but it never developed any kind of roots. That's okay. I'm okay with that success rate. So now I'm going to separate out these cuttings, and I've got my rusty trusty Sonic cups for those of you who don't have a Sonic. These are the huge Mondo 44-ounce cups you can get at Sonic. And before you get too weirded out, I have a bunch of cups that are from Sonic that are, basically that large. I do not drink that much Coke every day. As a matter of fact, unless I go into town and actually get them, so maybe once a week. That's my vice, that and collecting plants, evidently. All right, so I'm going to set up and show you my process for separating out these guys. Set up my little tripod thingy, and this is a new iPhone that I'm using. Birthday present from my little brother, who makes way more money than I do, so he can afford the good toys. But I'm hoping the videos on this camera, the phone's camera, will be better than the last portal thing. It was getting old anyway, but didn't do a burial at sea because that's just too cruel. It's actually sitting on a shelf somewhere waiting for me to figure out what I want to do with it. But let me get set up here and I'll show you my process. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is poke holes in the bottom, so I just have a big honking nail. I don't know what this is, but what size it is, but it's got a fairly big hole. So I'm just going to take the hole and poke it good. I try and do 7, 8, 9, whichever it works out. So, dun. So I'm just going to do that with the rest of these cups. I've got 2 that have already been done. This one, so I've got 5 more to do. I'll go look for more cups here in just a bit if I need them. Looking at the little pot, it's kind of hard to tell exactly how many are still alive. I think there's 10 cuttings in there. So I may just have 8 left. I may have less, but so we will be back. Okay. So we will take our pot with our nice label, date and label of what it is. Very important, because after a while everything looks kind of similar. So I'm just going to gently upend the pot. Ta-da! Clean that up for another time. And inspect. So here's one that didn't do well. It didn't root. Looked like it had the beginning of leaves. This one, same deal. It started leafing out, but didn't make any roots. All right, so we're already down by 2, 4, 6, 8 to go to look at. So you just generally kind of sort of start moving stuff apart. You're going to lose roots no matter how gentle you are. I probably could have taken this and repotted everything sooner than this, but I just wanted to give everything a good 2 months to get those roots developed before I start messing with them, because that gives the time for the roots to kind of toughen up. All right, so I am not going to remove. Some people will actually remove the soil from around the roots. I'm not going to. I'm just going to pot it up as is. Next step. Okay, so now we have our cup with holes and our cutting. We look kind of see where it was in the pot, so we know about how much soil to put in. Doing this backwards. So we're going to put a little bit of soil. This is a combination of potting soil. It's got a little bit of plant food in it. And pack it down a little bit, so you don't want it too loose that it's going to sink too much, but you don't want it packed down so much that it doesn't drain well. And you kind of put it in the pot to see exactly where it is in the level, and that's pretty good. And then you just do it. This is okay. So this is potting soil, and I've also mixed in a little what is that stuff? It's kind of almost like a seed mix for planting seeds and stuff like that, but I guess it's mostly peat moss with some perlite, but it's also got some mycorrhizae in it. It's the Pro Mix, which is one of my favorites. And I'll use that and mix that half and half with compost for a lot of my my pots and things like that. And this is, you can feel that it's moist, but it's not like clumping together or anything like that. I will go and bottom water and do a little bit of a top water with the tiniest bit of some compost, well, not compost tea. What will I use? I think I have some water-soluble fertilizer still in there. I can use a little bit diluted. Just don't want it to be too shocked, but I don't want it to starve. Part of the other reason why I was separating these out, you can kind of sort of see how this little guy is kind of bending over a little bit, isn't going up straight. It's been under a grow light, but it's been growing so much that's up going past the grow light, so it's not getting as much sunlight as it had been. So we're gonna move the situation to a different setup and give it a little bit more room to grow. I don't think I'm gonna like nip it back or anything like that to get more size on it. We'll just see how it goes. But yeah, so the soil is damp. It's not like dried out or anything like that. Just it may look like that on camera just because it's got so much peat moss in it, but it is very nice and damp. Okay, so I started out doing this with 19 cuttings that I did put into plant pots 2 months ago. Ended up with 5 duds. Looks like all but one of them actually did try to leaf out, but just never developed roots. That happens. So here are my little cuttings in their individual pots. I found some water-soluble fish fertilizer. So I'm going to give them a nice little drink. And I'm going to leave them out here. This is the north side of my house. It's kind of a nice day right now. It's in the mid-50s. They're going to be pretty much out of direct sunlight, at least until later on this afternoon. So give them a little bit of fresh air. Yeah, probably just leave them out here for a couple hours so they can absorb whatever water that I've got in there. And then I'm going to take them back in the house, put them in. I've got a spare bedroom that I set up a table with a grow light that I'll put them under. The grow light is taller than what I've got going now. Plus, it's a very sunny room. Anyway, it faces south and west. So that combined with keeping the grow light going and also the light actual turned on in the room, overhead light, should be fine for them. And then I can, on nice days that isn't too windy or too cold or anything like that, I can take them out because now they're in nice little trays that I can move them around. And so I've noticed that some of them, especially the ones from the first cup that I separated out, are showing little signs of either sunlight deficiency, even though they're under a grow light. The grow light, the shelf that I have the grow lights on, actually faces a sliding glass door in my kitchen, which faces east, so they at least get east, morning sun. And then they do basically the grow light all the rest of the whole day until I go to bed at night. So I'm thinking what's going on is we've had a pretty good cold snap for the last week or so that I have a curtain, one of those insulated curtains that's basically for keeping the daylight out, the room darkening curtain on there, so it'll help block when it's cold outside, so it'll help block some of the cold. But in the morning, what I've been doing is opening it up. But here lately, I've been only keeping it open halfway, so the part of the door that I actually go in and out of, the part that's stationary, is what the shelving is in front of. So I've been being lazy and not pulling that across so they can get actual sun. So I don't know if that's it, or if it's the fact that they need some more nutrients in it. They've got some roots. I'm a little concerned that this is the end of November and it's pretty far off from when I can actually put them outside and keep them outside. Plus the fact I've got these guys, plus these are regular size mulberries, but I've also got cuttings from dwarf mulberries, dwarf everbearing mulberries. And so those are only about a month along. I'm going to let them go at least till the end of the year on them, do the same thing probably. But so I've got 14 mulberry cuttings here, regular size. I have another actual mulberry that I had planted 2 years ago out in my yard. That's about, 6 feet tall now. So that coupled with the dwarf ones, I'm going to have a crap ton of mulberries, y'all. So I guess I need to either be taking these to doing a flea market or something like that and selling them to recoup the money I have for the soil and what I paid for the cuttings, or I just may need to, because even though I'm a little concerned, the fact that I probably don't have space for 15 mulberries, plus the dwarf ones too. So yeah, who needs 24 mulberry trees? I don't know, but we're going to find out, I guess. So I will keep you all apprised of what happens with these guys. Probably next month when I do the dwarf mulberry, getting them separated and in their own little individuals. I've got space for 4 more cups down here on this thing. I do have some of the dwarf mulberries in their own little individual cups. They're not as big as these 44-ounce monstrosities, but again, they're still a month. And I did the trick of doing the clear plastic fast food restaurant drink cups, so that I can actually see root development and all that kind of good stuff. So when you go to fast food or convenience store or something like that, see if you can get a clear plastic cup with a lid, and you can poke holes in the bottom like I did with these guys, and then with the lid cut out a circle where the straw goes, so it's wide enough to fit your cutting, and that way it gives a little bit of fresh air but doesn't dry out the soil as quickly. All right, let's get this video ready and uploaded to YouTube, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, guys. Okay, so this is the next day. Just wanted to show you how I've got them set up inside basically my craft room. So, by the way, this is Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, so happy Turkey Day. But I just wanted to show you all that everyone seems to be happy. Got a couple of extras. These two are the dwarf mulberries. Those I had already gone ahead and put into the clear cups. Let's see. Yeah, you can see one little root there. So I kind of like the idea of doing the cuttings in the clear cups. So yeah, you can see, because I had no idea. So those 5 cuttings that did not take, 4 of the 5 actually did have leaves on them, but the leaves had dried up and gone away. So it was like, okay. But evidently after I had gotten everything separated out, saw that no leaves, no roots had ever actually developed. So it was just kind of a last ditch effort. So everyone seems to be doing fine. I had them out for about till about 5 o'clock last night. So they were out there for maybe 3 hours or so outside on the north side of the house. And one of the smaller ones, I believe that one right there, was looking a little wilty. So I was a little concerned that she may not enjoy her trip outside, but she seems to have bounced back. So I've got them here under my little grow light. You can see a lot of them are already taller, so I've also got the ceiling light on. Not that that gives that much actual grow light, but they're also in a, this is the south facing window, so there'll be sun going in here. And then we have the west facing. So in the afternoon, they'll get more sun too, especially the fact that it's Thanksgiving Day and it's actually a sunny day. So just wanted to give you an update. So we'll check in on them later.